My friend, in the next few minutes, I will hand you a key, one that can unlock doors to influence, opportunity, and success you never imagined. That key is communication. Not just talking, but connecting. Not just speaking, but moving people to act. The truth is, most people fail, not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they cannot convey their ideas with clarity, confidence, and conviction. The good news: communication is not a gift you're born with. It's a skill you can master. And if you give me your attention right now, I will show you exactly how to sharpen that skill so your words carry weight, your voice commands respect, and your presence leaves a lasting mark. Your words are not just sounds you release into the air. They are tools, instruments, and weapons. They can build bridges or burn them. They can plant seeds of inspiration or seeds of doubt. They can open the door to opportunity or slam it shut forever. Every time you speak, you are either increasing your influence or weakening it. The question is, are you conscious of the power you hold? Think about this. History remembers people not because they simply existed, but because they spoke in a way that moved others to act. Entire nations have risen and fallen because of the words of a single individual. Business empires have been built, wars have been ended, relationships have been healed, all through the careful and deliberate use of language. Yet, in everyday life, most people use their words carelessly, as if they have no real weight. They underestimate the fact that every conversation they have is a transaction of energy, belief, and vision. When you realize that words can become the currency of influence, you stop speaking casually and start speaking with intention. You understand that your tone, your pace, and your choice of words shape how people perceive you. You begin to recognize that communication is not just about expressing yourself, it's about directing the thoughts and emotions of the person listening to you. And when you master that, doors start opening. Opportunities seem to appear from nowhere. People begin to listen to you, not because they have to, but because they want to. If your words are powerful enough, they can lift someone from hopelessness to belief in a single conversation. They can turn a hesitant, maybe, into an enthusiastic. They can make someone trust you in minutes or doubt you in seconds. That is the responsibility that comes with the ability to speak. You are holding a sword, and like any sword, it can protect or destroy, depending on how you wield it. The first step to improving your communication is to stop treating your speech as random chatter and start treating it as a performance with purpose. This doesn't mean you have to be fake. It means you have to be deliberate. Ask yourself, what impact do I want my words to have right now? Do I want to inspire, persuade, comfort, challenge? Whatever the purpose, craft your message so that it hits the target. Some people will tell you that influence comes from appearance, status, or luck. But the truth is, influence begins with language. The person who can articulate their thoughts clearly and passionately will always rise above the one who cannot. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you cannot communicate it in a way that makes others see its value, that idea will die with you. The beautiful thing is, you do not need a massive vocabulary or an accent that sounds polished to be powerful. You need clarity. You need conviction. You need to believe in what you're saying so strongly that the listener cannot help but feel it too. When your words are rooted in sincerity and driven by purpose, they carry a force that no training program or fancy speech pattern can match. So from this moment forward, treat your words like gold. Spend them wisely. Refuse to waste them on gossip, negativity, or self-doubt. Choose them with care, deliver them with passion, and let them serve your vision. Because the moment you recognize the weight of your words, you will never again underestimate your ability to shape the world around you. One conversation at a time. Here's the expanded version of the second keynotes. Confidence speaks louder than vocabulary. In the same high-energy, motivational tone, up to about 600 words, with no headings, confidence is the invisible force that speaks before you ever open your mouth. You can have a library of perfect words in your mind, but if you deliver them without belief, they will land like a whisper in a storm, barely noticed, quickly forgotten. On the other hand, you can use the simplest words in the language, and if they are spoken with conviction, people will stop, listen, and remember. Too many people believe that communication is about showing how smart they are. They pack their sentences with complicated vocabulary, technical terms, or flowery language, thinking that this will impress others. But the truth is, most people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel, and the feeling they take away comes from your confidence, not your dictionary. Confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance tries to force respect. Confidence earns it. Arrogance speaks to prove itself. Confidence speaks to serve others. When you communicate with true self-belief, people sense it. They feel the stability in your tone, the steadiness in your eyes, the certainty in your words. They may not consciously analyze it, but something deep within them says, "This person knows what they're talking about, and I should listen." If you want to become a more powerful communicator, start by strengthening the belief you have in yourself. Your voice is the reflection of your mind. If you doubt yourself inside, that doubt will leak into your tone, your posture, and your energy. You cannot fake real confidence for long. It must be built from within. That means you need to know your message, trust your knowledge, and remind yourself that you have value to share. The moment you believe that, your words will begin to carry weight. Think of the great communicators in history. Most of them didn't speak with flawless grammar. Many had accents, stutters, or unconventional styles. But their presence was magnetic because they believed so deeply in their message that the imperfections didn't matter. In fact, those imperfections often made them more relatable, more human. People weren't inspired because they spoke like a textbook. They were inspired because they spoke like someone who had lived, learned, and stood firmly on their truth. Here's the reality. The listener's mind is constantly scanning for clues about whether or not to trust you. Your vocabulary plays a role, but your energy plays a bigger one. When you speak with hesitation, your audience will hesitate to believe you. When you speak with certainty, they will lean in, even if they don't fully understand every word. This is why confidence is louder than vocabulary. It transmits trust faster than words can explain. Confidence in communication is built through action. Every conversation you have is a training session. The more you put yourself in situations where you speak, share ideas, and express your thoughts, the stronger your belief in your own voice will become. Avoiding speaking opportunities will keep you trapped in doubt. Facing them will forge the strength you need. So stop obsessing over whether you know the perfect word. Stop worrying about sounding like someone else. Instead, focus on owning the words you already have. Speak them like they matter, because they do. Believe in the value of your message, because if you don't, no one else will. Let your tone, your body language, and your presence declare, "I have something important to say, and I know it will help you." When you communicate with that level of certainty, people won't remember the size of your vocabulary. They'll remember the size of your impact. And in the end, it is not the complexity of your words that changes lives, but the courage and confidence with which you speak them. Most people think communication is about talking. They imagine influence as being the one with the loudest voice, the strongest opinion, the most convincing arguments. But the truth is, the foundation of powerful communication is not speaking, it's listening. You were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. If you want your words to matter, you must first understand the person you are speaking to. Listening is more than being silent while the other person talks. It's the discipline of being fully present, absorbing their words, their tone, and the emotions beneath their words. It's the ability to hear what they're really saying, even when they're not saying it directly. This is where true influence begins. When people feel understood, they open their minds to what you have to say. When they feel ignored, they close the door before you even start speaking. Think about the last time someone truly listened to you. They didn't interrupt. They didn't rush you. They didn't mentally prepare their counter-argument while you were still talking. They gave you their full attention, and in that moment, you felt respected, valued, and important. That feeling is powerful, and if you can give it to others, you will create connections that last far beyond the conversation. Listening well gives you a strategic advantage. The more you understand the person in front of you, the better you can shape your message to meet their needs. You stop speaking into the dark and start aiming directly at the target. Your words become sharper, more relevant, and more persuasive because they are tailored to the person, not just thrown into the air hoping something will stick. Unfortunately, most people approach communication with an agenda. They want to be heard, they want to win, they want to be right. But great communicators flip the script. They focus on the other person first. They ask questions, they dig deeper, they show genuine curiosity. And because of that, when it's their turn to speak, their words carry more weight. People are far more likely to listen to someone who first took the time to listen to them. Listening also reveals opportunities that careless speakers miss. A single detail in someone's story, a hesitation in their tone, or an unspoken concern between their words can be the key to unlocking agreement, trust, or action. But you can only catch those signals if you're tuned in, not just hearing, but truly listening. When you adopt the habit of listening twice and speaking once, you not only improve your communication, you transform your relationships, your influence, and your results. You start speaking less from assumption and more from understanding. Your conversations become less about noise and more about meaning. And meaning is what people remember. Listening also builds humility. It reminds you that you don't know everything, and that every person you meet has a perspective that could teach you something. This humility makes you more approachable, more respected, and more trusted. People gravitate toward those who make them feel heard, not those who talk endlessly about themselves. So, before you rush into your next conversation ready to deliver your message, pause. Take a breath. Ask a question. Let the other person speak and listen, not for the sake of replying, but for the sake of understanding. The moment you truly grasp where they are coming from, your words will no longer be guesses. They will be arrows aimed directly at their mind and heart. And when your words are backed by true understanding, they don't just reach people, they move them. That's when communication stops being a transaction of information and becomes a transformation of connection. The world is already noisy. People are bombarded with messages every second. Ads, emails, videos, notifications, opinions from every direction. In that chaos, the communicator who wins is not the one who speaks the longest or uses the most complex words. The one who wins is the one who can cut through the noise with clarity so sharp it demands attention. Simplicity is not weakness, it is mastery. When you strip away unnecessary complexity, your message becomes more powerful, not less. People do not remember every detail you say. They remember the core truth that hits them in the heart. If your message is buried under layers of jargon and overcomplicated phrasing, it will slip right past them. But if you can say something important in a way that is clear, concise, and unforgettable, it will live in their minds long after you've stopped speaking. Some believe that complexity makes them sound smarter. They think using big words and long explanations will impress their audience. But in reality, complexity often builds a wall between you and the listener. Simplicity builds a bridge. If you truly understand your subject, you can explain it simply. It takes far more skill to express a profound idea in a few clear words than it does to drown it in endless sentences. Look at the most powerful speeches in history. Many were short, direct, and easy to understand. They didn't need a dictionary to be impactful. They didn't try to overwhelm people with information. They inspired action with clarity. That's because simplicity doesn't just make words easier to understand, it makes them easier to feel. And in communication, emotion is the currency of influence. When your message is simple, it's shareable. People can repeat it, spread it, and carry it forward. But if they have to think too hard to figure out what you meant, they will forget it before the conversation is over. This is why the best communicators are masters of distillation. They take the essential truth and deliver it without clutter. Simplicity also respects the listener's time. In a world where attention spans are shrinking, every extra, unnecessary word is an invitation for someone to tune out. When you get to the point quickly and clearly, you show that you value them enough not to waste their time. This respect builds trust, and trust is the foundation of lasting influence. There is a difference between being brief and being empty. Simplicity is not about cutting out meaning. It's about cutting out distraction. Every word should serve the message. If it doesn't, it doesn't belong. When you refine your message like this, it becomes sharper, more focused, and more persuasive. The beauty of simplicity is that it works everywhere. Whether you are giving a speech to 1,000 people, pitching an idea to a client, or having a heart-to-heart with a loved one, in every situation, clarity is a gift. It tells the listener, I see you, I understand you, and I want to make this easy for you to grasp. So, as you work to improve your communication skills, remember this: the goal is not to speak more, it's to say more with less. Let your message be like a clear bell ringing in a noisy marketplace. Let it cut through confusion, light up understanding, and stir action. Because when your words are simple, they become unstoppable. And in a world drowning in noise, the voice that speaks with clarity will always be the one that gets heard, remembered, and acted upon. Great communicators are not born, they are built. Every smooth speech, every confident conversation, Every powerful moment of influence you've ever witnessed was not the result of luck or natural talent. It was the result of practice, deliberate, consistent, purposeful practice, repeated until skill became instinct. Too many people treat communication as something fixed. They say, "I'm just not a good speaker," or "I can't express myself well," as if it's a permanent condition they were cursed with. But communication is not a gift. It's a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows with use. If you speak rarely, you will struggle when the moment comes. If you speak often and with intention, you will rise naturally to the occasion when it matters most. Practice is the secret that turns nervous, hesitant voices into confident, commanding ones. It's what sharpens your ability to choose the right words, adjust your tone, and read the room. You don't wait until you're in front of a big audience to figure out how to speak. You train in small moments, in everyday conversations, until speaking well becomes as natural as breathing. When you practice, you give yourself room to make mistakes and learn from them before the stakes are high. You discover what works, what doesn't, and how your style connects with different people. You find the rhythm in your voice, the pace that holds attention, the stories that spark emotion. And with every repetition, you remove a little more of the fear and uncertainty that holds so many people back. Some believe practice means rehearsing until you sound perfect. But perfection is not the goal. Authenticity is. Practice is not about becoming a robotic, memorized version of yourself. It's about becoming so comfortable with your own voice, your own message, that you can adapt and respond in the moment without losing your confidence. That is when you truly own the conversation. There will be times when you stumble, when your words don't come out as planned, when the reaction isn't what you expected. That's not failure. That's training. Every challenging conversation is a lesson. Every awkward pause is an opportunity to grow. The people who master communication are the ones who step back after those moments and ask, "What can I do better next time?" Then they apply it until improvement becomes inevitable. The truth is, the people you admire for their communication skills didn't get there by chance. They practiced in the mirror. They spoke to empty rooms. They recorded themselves and listened back. They paid attention to body language, tone, and timing until those details became second nature. And because of that, when they step into important moments, they don't have to think about every word. They simply flow. You have the same ability within you. You can train your communication until it no longer feels like a skill you're forcing. It becomes part of who you are. The key is to start now, to speak more often, to push yourself into situations that stretch your comfort zone. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. The more natural it feels, the more powerful you become. One day, without even realizing it, you will walk into a conversation and feel a quiet certainty in your chest. The words will come easily, the message will land, and the connection will be strong. And in that moment, you will know that your skill is no longer something you try to remember. It's something you are. That is the power of practice. That is how instinct is born.